Miles Teller involved in a car accident with an Uber driver.
Kid from Whiplash.
Yes.
If you haven't seen Whiplash, you should watch Whiplash. It's very good.
And he is also in Bleed for This.
So, I haven't seen Bleed for This. I've seen Whiplash.
I think Bleed for This came out fairly recently. But, we kind of live in a bubble. So.
Well, and you guys need me buying stuff to make CDs and tapes and things. You don't need me buying stuff to go to the. You don't need me going to the movies with my money. I buy equipment.
Sure.
I do kind of bubble off, but Whiplash is very good.
Yes.
I have it on Blu-ray. We both went to music college.
Yes.
You didn't have that experience at music school.
No, I didn't have that experience because I was a music business major, and there was like this unwritten agreement
to just leave you guys alone.
The faculty to leave the music business majors alone.
Right.
Because we were the ones that actually bothered to graduate.
There's that.
Yeah, so I had a few professors along the way that were. They would get frustrated at that level and ask me what my major was. And when I told them music business, you could just see on their faces. They were like, damn it.
So I was not, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just want to point out, thank you for doing our contract. Mm-hmm. I wish you would do more of the business stuff, but that's okay.
It's a time thing.
So with that though, obviously the violence is if you have a teacher that's throwing a chair at you, bail. There's no reason. But the J.K. Simmons did a pretty good job of humanizing his character. It feels that way when you're in music school while you're doing it. The pressure feels enormous. Mm-hmm. But I'm a gigging musician.
Yes.
I got what they teach you in music school has very little to do with what you're going to be doing out there in the world. There was no, hey, did you know you're going to have to make a lot of video content to be a musician kind of class, right? It was very much like, you got to be able to do these things. And some of the things I still can't do to this day. I still work at it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is I had a teacher who very much reminded me of J.K. Simmons' character. And I love him to pieces. He's probably my, aside from Mr. Randolph, aside from Eugene Randolph, he was definitely my favorite of the teachers. He's the one that stands out to me and one of the few that stands out in a very positive way. Mm-hmm. And he pushed me to do things and think of things in ways I wouldn't have unless I had been really challenged in that manner and pushed that hard.
Yeah.
And I broke. You know, that's the reality,
and some people respond to that kind of teaching.
Right.
And some people just don't.
Right. But you're talking about basically a big part of why Freeform Fridays exists is because of him.
Sure.
So a huge thank you. But, yeah, everybody should see that film. And Miles Teller, is he okay? Is he?
Yeah, yeah, he and his girlfriend are okay.
Everybody's okay? How's the Uber driver?
The Uber driver pulled into oncoming traffic, and the accident was unavoidable.
Shh.
One passenger in the Uber was taken to the hospital with minor injuries, while another complained of minor pain.
Okay.
So
everybody's relatively okay.
Yeah.
And this wasn't in Austin, so we can't recommend David Comey.
No, this was in
because Austin doesn't have Uber.
This was in San Fernando Valley.
So, I'm also thoroughly upset at Uber right now.
Why are you upset with Uber?
Well, they've been trying these automated cars, which, first off,
that might have prevented this accident.
But they were operating without valid licensing and permitting.
Of course they were.
I'm gonna adjust this because I can't have him rowing on that.
That's fine.
So
I'd say pull it back, but
yeah, but I can only do that so much. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of tangled with yours. Okay.
So, but the thing about Uber is this is a company that is dead set on skirting the law. Mm-hmm. They they were operating all these autonomous vehicles without the licensing from the California Department of Motor Vehicles,
Yep.
which requires certain reporting. They just didn't want to tell how many red lights the thing ran.
Yeah,
They didn't want to tell how many people it almost mowed down and how many near misses. They want to keep that information private because it's very, very inconvenient for them. Because they're not performing that well.
Right.
And so here they are running these autonomous vehicles, which, by the way, they're already screwing the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically not making money as an Uber driver. What you're doing is you're trading miles on your car, wear and tear on your vehicle, equity in your vehicle. You're trading that for cash.
Yes.
So if you need it quick and you've got a car that qualifies, okay. But you most likely going without that thing is better if you already have a job. But there are people trying to make a living at this.
Yeah.
And shame on Uber.
And
Shame on their anti-union practices. Shame on their anti-regulation skirting. And then when Austin actually passes some reasonable regulation, they just pack up and leave. Screw them.
and yeah, that was.
I don't give a bleep about Uber. I give a bleep that Miles Teller's okay,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, he's okay.
Do you give a bleep?
I give a bleep that Miles Teller and his girlfriend are okay.
Sure.
Um,
Go ahead.
I strongly suspect that Uber still refuses to get any sort of regulations on their drivers in any states. So
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
yeah, that's pretty lousy.
Yeah, they say they're doing background checks, but their background checks are BS.
Yeah, no.
I don't. The only people that should be running background checks is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, like when I go buy a firearm. And why can't they work with them and do that kind of background checking?
Yeah, no.
No.
The,
Shame on Uber.
Uber and all the other ride-sharing companies should be subjected to the absolute same regulations as a taxi company.
And they should be treating their people like the employees that they are, the way a taxi company would.
Yes.
And yeah, it's all just a big scheme so they don't have to pay taxes and they don't have to be regulated. And all they're doing, they're taking the classic startup run that Google showed everybody to do, which is Google did a better job. Uber is just cheap, right? But it's go undercut your entire, lose as much money as you can. They're the most losing startup in the history of startups. There's never been a startup that's lost money at the rate of Uber. And what they're doing is they're just trying to drive every mom and pop taxi company out of business. They aren't monopolies. They're owner-operators for the most part. These are individuals just trying to make a living. And it's expensive and it's really hard to do and there's a lot of regulation. And yeah, when you're out there driving people around on the road constantly and you're picking up strangers, yeah, I want to make sure that you're thoroughly looked into and made sure it's okay. But they're just trying to drive those guys out. And then all of a sudden, Uber will just increase their prices once they have a monopoly on it. Yeah, no, screw Uber. All right, what's next?
What's next?